What's going on, guys? My name is Josh. Some of you know me as OreoDrinker, and this is Life Lessons episode number 2. And it's gonna be focused on relationships. I don't like think I'm an expert whenever it comes to relationships, but I've been in several different types of relationships, so I know a little bit about it. It's not. I wrote a blog a couple days ago, and I'm gonna kind of take snippets from it and just kind of focus on that. I'll link the blog in the description so that you can read the full thing if you'd like. But so yeah, relationships. You can't live with them, but you cannot live without them. Literally, in a relationship, you feel both ends of the spectrum of the emotional spectrum. You know, bliss to complete misery. I mean, we've all been there. Probably most of us have been there on both sides of this spectrum, and we all know which one we prefer. But sometimes we just can't avoid, the latter. We just can't avoid losing that person. Sometimes they just don't feel it anymore. But I'll get into that here in a second. I'm going to give you a brief background of myself. Whenever I was 17, I was a junior in high school. That's whenever I got into my first serious relationship, where I dropped my first L-bomb, and, it was pretty serious. We had already started kind of making plans for the future of staying together and everything, and then it turned out she's kind of crazy. I went to Europe and for about 10 days, and she just couldn't take that, me being away for 10 days. And, things just kind of broke apart, and, it just didn't work out. And I wasn't very happy about it because I really liked this girl. I don't think I really loved her because she was kind of overbearing, and she wasn't really she was kind of crazy. Not really crazy, but she was kind of a wild one, I guess. And that's really not my type of girl. Kind of, sometimes, maybe. I'm gonna jump around a lot here, but just bear with me. But anyways, the thing with this girl ended, and instead of focusing on all the negatives, I just thought, what can I do to learn from this? What can I do to make myself a better man from this? Because, I don't put all the blame on her, because I know I made my mistakes too, and there were steps that I could have taken to make it better, and to make it work, but I just didn't take those steps because I didn't want to be with her. But say I wanted to be with her, I wasn't there enough for her. That's the bottom line. It just when in a long distance relationship, whenever you're 17 and you can't drive, well, not really long distance, it seemed long distance. She only lived about an hour away, but that's just like a little bit too far for parents to want to drive every few days. So I only saw her like every couple of weeks, and she was kind of needy and just kind of overbearing, and it ended. It had to. I learned from it. What I learned from it was that sometimes our significant others just want some things that we can't change. And what could I have changed? I could have tried to see her more. There really wasn't a way to get around that, because I just couldn't. There really was nothing that I could do. She found some other guy who could see her a lot more. He's older, and it just went from there. I didn't want to have to be a choice. I wanted to be the one that she wanted, and the only one that she wanted. But anyways, moving on. About 6 months later, I got into a really serious relationship. Like, really serious. We dated for a year and a half, and for somebody who's only 18, that's quite a while. And it wasn't long distance at first. For about the first 7 months of it, we were great, and it just didn't work out. It just didn't work out because by the time I got out of college, we were just kind of broken down, and there really was nothing that I could do to save it. And I didn't really want to. She wanted to get back together right away, but that's not what I wanted. I wanted to take some time and think about it, and I did think about it, and I just didn't want to be with this person because we both messed up beyond repair. I take more blame than her for it, but it just was not meant to be. And so after that ended, we dated for a year and a half. Fast forward from the first relationship about 2 years, and I'm a sophomore in college. I started talking to the girl who I talked about, the girl who just broke up with me, and I had no intention of being with her. I'll just be blunt. I really had zero intention to date this girl because I was mostly looking to just talk to somebody to fill the void. I just randomly messaged her on Facebook. It was literally an any, mini, miny, mo thing of who I was going to talk to on Facebook that day, and it just happened to be her. And we exchanged phone numbers, and I just talked to her and just let her on purpose because, like I said, I had no intention of being with her. And I accidentally had fun whenever we hung out. I ended up really liking this girl, and I ended up falling pretty hard for her. She was really great, but she could be kind of mean sometimes. But there's some things that you just look past in a girl, and whenever their positives outweigh their negatives, I mean, that's what you just have to do. Nobody's perfect, but it was long distance again because she lived in my hometown, and I didn't really know how to deal with her sometimes because she could be pretty difficult and get mad over some of the stuff that just really didn't make a lot of sense. We worked it out every time though, and in this summer, this previous summer, I promised her that I would see her a lot more and that I'd be there a lot more for her, but that just didn't happen. I let her down, I really did, and I had to help my dad move and stuff, and I mean, it could have been avoided, but I more or less chose to not go there, and I really didn't try my best. I mean, there were some times where she could have done better, but I mean, I take most of the blame for it because I made a lot of promises that I didn't necessarily keep. But we broke up, and now here's the part where I'm going to tell you how to deal with this type of thing. What I did, and do not do this, this is a big part of the lesson that I learned. Do not harass them. I mean, just don't even talk to them, because if they break up with you, and I know that a lot of people say, yeah, girls just want to be chased or whatever, but you should be able to tell whenever they really don't. I cried and I begged, and it just made her life hell. And I really, really am ashamed of myself for doing that, and I'm never going to do it again. I've never done it before, and I don't know. I had no control over the situation and did everything that I thought I could to try to make it work, but whenever in reality I was really just making it worse. It really could have been avoided, and next time if it ever does happen again, it's going to be avoided, trust me. But how you can deal with it is looking at it as a learning experience. What I learned from this last girl was that you can't help how you feel, they can't help how they feel any more than you can help how you feel. Have you ever tried to make yourself stop having a crush on somebody? No, you can try, but it just doesn't work. I mean, feelings, you can't control your heart with your brain. I've always said that, and you just have to let it go if they don't want it to be. It's going to suck for a really long time, and perhaps years, I mean, but you just have to learn from these mistakes. I mean, you have to learn what you did wrong in the relationship to make them think that way, to make them not want to be with you. I'm kind of running out of time, so I'm going to leave it at that. Just be happy. Just do your best to be happy. I love you guys. You're great. Have a good day.